Hi everybody, welcome to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm Dr. John Degenhardt. I've been a host of this show for probably over 20-30 years. You know, as a chiropractor for 44 years, chiropractic adjustments to the spine is my specialty. But some people, they have neuropathy, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, different problems that medical doctors cannot help, chiropractors cannot help. So today's show is going to be about the laser. We've talked about this in the past a little bit, that the laser has a way of helping the brain to function at a higher level. So we're going to first demonstrate what the laser's like, and then talk to someone who's got about 8 laser visits already to see what type of improvement she has. So thank you for spending time with us. I pray to make this show worth your while. Let's take a little break and come back and you can watch and see what a laser treatment is like. So there are many different types of lasers. We used to have a class 4 hot laser, which is good to heat up degenerated lumbar discs to prevent back surgeries. I've had that laser for 10 years. But over the years, these cold lasers, it's about a $23,000 machine. It's to help stimulate, go back to your high school days. Remember the term mitochondria. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell. The question scientists asked him for years, why does a young person cut their skin and it heals in 3 days, where older people cut their skin and it takes 2 weeks? The answer was the mitochondria. The mitochondria vibrates at a higher level in younger people. So they made a laser that makes the mitochondria sort of vibrate or move faster to produce faster healing results. So here we have an MS patient, and you're going to hear his story after we do this treatment. MS, multiple sclerosis, is like a scarring between the brain and the nerves and the muscles. I've had, hundreds of multiple sclerosis patients where I've adjusted their spines for years. So I reduced their sciatica, their back pain, but never really got much of an improvement with their MS symptoms. So we're going to first show you what it's like, and then he's going to explain to you, if he feels no pain from this. In fact, just to turn it on for you quickly, if you look behind me, that's what the laser looks like. There's an orange and a purple light. So we have it programmed here for multiple sclerosis. So we're going to go on the back of his cerebellum. He wears these protective glasses just to make sure. They taught me, and when I took these courses, that you could get it in someone's eye because it's a cold laser, that it will not damage it, but it's just extra safe to wear these protective glasses. So his name is Dave Latoff. He was diagnosed with MS, I think he told me he was 19.
Yes.
And you're going to hear his story for the second segment of the show. Then we'll hear her story. She's got about 8 laser treatments as to what changes. So again, here's a chiropractor. I love people. I know that people have cancers and heartaches and tough life. So I don't want to just adjust their spine. What if I could stimulate right now the mitochondria of his cerebellum and also of his spinal cord? What if it allows his nervous system to function slowly at a higher level? So what if he says to me after about 8 or 10 treatments, you know what, John? I can walk up steps better. My stability is better. I'm doing more chores around the house. So again, let's be open. No cure for multiple sclerosis. No false claims. We're trying with the laser to stimulate the mitochondria of his cerebellum to function at a higher level, that maybe we could at least turn back some of the symptoms that he has. So Dave, you don't feel anything, do you?
No, are you doing it?
Yep. Yeah, so it's on the back of your, and that's why I showed it on TV. So there's an orange and a purple oscillating light, the laser. It penetrates through his skull, goes into the cerebellum. If this was a hot laser, he would feel the heat from it. But a cold laser, here's what they want to do. They actually want to calm down calm down the brain activity and allow the mitochondria to function to heal his body better. I must have about 7 multiple sclerosis. One girl's in a wheelchair. She could not take care of her child. And as I maybe did about 5 or 6 sessions with her, now she's able to at least get out of her wheelchair. And she's only, I think, like 34 years old. So she can take care of her. My dream is to help her walk on the beach with her. Her baby, I think, is 2 or 3 years old. So again, improve the quality of life for people. So chiropractors, we're mainly here to adjust the spine, but we have a traction table for people that have bad discs. You have to, as a chiropractor, get other machines because not everybody just has a simple slip and fall. Some people have degenerated discs. These patients, let's explain this for people. When you get a brain MRI, a brain is white, covered in gray matter, a protective gray layer. On a brain MRI, the neurologist will order a brain MRI to see if there's any white. If the white brain material is coming up through the gray, we call it demyelination, where the protective barrier of the brain, they don't know why, but multiple sclerosis is when that protective layer is going away. This research shows that the mitochondria right now of his protective gray layer is going to try to grow thicker. And that's what they're researching right now in San Francisco. They're taking brain MRIs and seeing that the gray matter of the brain starts to regenerate. So if we can sort of re-insulate his brain the way it was when he was 10 years old, try to make his gray matter thicker, can it then keep the white matter sort of calmer so that his body's not having the multiple sclerosis? And so that's the theory, and the FDA has a patent in this. Car insurance pays for this. Workman's compensation pays for it. Patients who don't have those injuries pay cash for it. To be honest, the $23,000 machine, we charge $30 a session. I always feel when I watch a show, people don't tell the whole story. I want to tell the whole story. I wish I could say to all of you, Medicare will pay for this, or Blue Cross will. Car accident patients do. Workman's compensation does, federally recognized by the government. So we're going to close this first session soon. On the second session, second 7 minutes, I want Dave to tell you his story of how he was diagnosed and how he's been doing. It's a courageous story that he has a positive attitude. He's trying to make the best. And that's what I want you to do. If you're watching this show and you have cancer, you lost your job, you can't pay your rent, you never give up in life. Never give up. You have to have if life knocks us down 1,000 times, you got to get up 1,001 times. So this concludes the first 7 minutes of the show about lasers. And then Dave will tell his story. And then Danielle's going to say what results she's gotten from laser. So stay tuned. Thanks for coming back, folks. So just to give you an introduction here, about 2 months ago, she felt improvements through the laser. She's part of an MS group that meets at the Wellness Center. So I never met Dave before. Dave's part of that group. He invited me to come to give a presentation. So Dave, talk about what is the date and the time of we're going to do a laser presentation up at the Wellness Center. So when is it exactly?
It is July 10th at 6 o'clock p.m. And I want MSers to come out. It's amazing treatment, I think. I believe it is. And it's doing good for people and for MSers. And it's making their quality of life better. And Dr. John will be there and he'll be doing demonstrations. And so if you have MS, please come. July 10th, 6 o'clock at the Hazleton Health and Wellness Center. And I hope to see you there. And
I think it says, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
And is there a certain room number it's going to be in?
It's just in the main door and we'll point you in the right direction. And if you are interested in coming, uh, if you could RSVP with me at 570-401-5956, that would be greatly appreciated so we know a number of people that are coming. And it's going to be a great support group meeting, and there'll be a lot of great information for us MSers.
And so just to be transparent, there was no charge. I'm going to give a little bit of an explanation like I am now as to the science, in case if anybody doesn't see the show, then I will give free laser treatments to whoever's there in that group that day, just to give it, and then it's their choice if they want to come to the office. But Dave, go back in time now. So when you were 15 years old, what changes did you start to see in your body before you got this MS diagnosis?
Well, when it was 19 years old, I was diagnosed. It began with numbness in my leg. My leg was numb, and I was an athlete. I played college football, and I believed that I was dehydrated. So I was pumping myself full of fluids and everything, and the numbness wasn't going away. After 3 months, it didn't go away. So my mother, who is awesome, and she is a nurse, and she said, we got to get a check. So we went down to St. Christopher's Children's Hospital in Philly, and they did all the tests. They did the MRIs, the lumbar punctures, and everything. And a week later, they call me, and I get the diagnosis that I have MS. I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. And I'm 19 years old, and, it was kind of like a punch in the gut. But, I had two choices. I could sit and cry about it, or I could do something about it. I can make my life better by helping others, by doing a support group, by getting MSers together, and just trying to make life for people with this terrible disease better. And that's what the foundation is for.
And again, folks, not just the laser. We're all human beings watching this show. When you're presented at 19 years old as a college athlete of a diagnosis that has no cure, that's going to slowly get worse with time, that's what motivates. What if this laser? And that's my point of today's show. I've had neurologists call me, ask me for the science behind this. Laser is big in Europe, not in America. It seems like Americans are so indoctrinated on medications and chemistry, and I'm not against medication, but I'm just asking you to have an open mind. What if I could help him, and you'll hear her in a minute, how she's feeling improvement. Dave had actually one session a month ago, and now this a few minutes today, but let's see if he gets a couple more sessions, if he starts to feel some changes. But my point is, he has made a choice. He said it. All of you have choices watching this show. Either get angry, people say, I curse God, I can't stand that my wife died of cancer or my child is in an accident, or you have a choice of what he did. Make the best of your situation. It takes courage. It takes faith to keep a positive attitude. So I'm grateful, Dave. I'm grateful for the way that you were raised by your parents to make a positive impact for the MSers. Is that what you call them, the MSers? Yeah. I never heard of that term before.
My MSers, I don't know.
So how many are in your group?
Well, it started out, we had about 15 MSers, and then COVID hit, and then now we're down to about 5 or 6.
Okay.
And I'm hoping this televised thing will get them the numbers back up to 10, 15 people. And, people don't understand it unless you have it, really. You don't get it unless you have it. And we would like to, just get people to get together with one another that understand one another. And
so do your MSers meet at the Wellness Center once a month?
Bi-monthly.
Okay.
Every other month we meet.
Okay. So again, folks, I tell a lot of my patients, grieving, join a support group. So if you have someone that you know that has MS, maybe he gave his phone number before, maybe they'll put it on the show later on the bottom, call him, come to a support group. Even if you don't take this laser, try to at least share your woes and your joys. So this concludes the second 7-minute segment of the show. Now we're going to have Danielle's had about 8 lasers. Let's hear from her, if it's helped her or not. Thank you. Hey everybody, again, I respect you for spending your time with us today. You could be doing 10 other things, I'm sure. I'm a man that I love helping people. I love being a chiropractor. I never want to retire. If I can help Danielle to have a better quality of life, it gives me purpose. I never want to wake up in life with nothing to do. So Danielle's had about 8 treatments. What we're talking about, if you just joined us, is we have a laser machine at this office. It's one of the better lasers. There's some $200 lasers. This is a $23,000 laser that it penetrates through her skull. It helps thicken the gray matter of her brain. They're doing research right now in California to see how fast or how long does it take to regenerate the gray matter so that her white matter doesn't come through on an MS MRI. So again, I get calls from neurologists and attorneys, all these different referrals. All I'm asking is have an open mind. We do not cure MS. But Danielle, you got about, 8 treatments so far?
Yes, I did.
So just simply tell the people, what improvements have you seen with these 8 laser treatments?
So far, I've had way better speech because I'm having problems with my speech like a while ago. And I was able to stand at the kitchen sink for a lot longer than I was. For at least like 5 minutes standing there, and I'm more flexible and bendable. I transfer a lot better, a lot faster. I'm not scared of it either no more.
Good. And you were saying earlier, we're all different. She has a nervousness about it. That's why she's looking at this list on her phone. But she feels after about 8 treatments, she's less nervous.
Exactly.
And everything in life, in my opinion. So let's say her brain is calming down with these treatments. She's a little bit more mobile. She's more motivated to get her chores done. To an MSer, as Dave calls them, that quality of life is a little bit better. And that's all I'm looking for. So only God knows, over the next 10, 20 years, if we can slow down some of the progression of MS and keep her more ambulatory, keep her still able to stand up. I know she never wants to become bedridden. Oh. So if I can keep these MSers' brains more active, maybe then we'll keep her out of the bed as long as possible. So again, if you have MS, Dave has a support group every 2 months at the Wellness Center. His phone number, I'm sure the TV will put it on. We want the MSers to come to the Wellness Center. I think it was July 10th?
Yes.
Is a Wednesday, 6 p.m. No charge. Just come into the Wellness Center. If there's 5 or 10 of us, I told Dave, one thing, I gave a speech once in South Carolina to 10,000 people. And I remember, I'll be blunt, they gave me a standing ovation. And I was so excited that I connected. I connected with the audience. But I've learned since then, if there's 2 people that show up at the Wellness Center, I told Dave, that's okay. If I help those 2 people, like we did Danielle, and Danielle has spoken to David, so even if there's only 2 people, it's worth my time to come up on a Wednesday night at 6 o'clock after work and do this presentation. So we're going to explain more about what the laser's like. If you choose to, you get a free laser treatment that day. And then if you want to come to his support groups, I think no matter what we're going through, we need to be transparent. As a healer, many people, here's the mistake they make. They think they're the only ones going through their heartaches right now. John, my husband has died, and I have such depression. Nobody understands me. I said, there's 1,000 other people going through the same thing. So if you have MS, and you are depressed, and you're angry with God, why do I have this stupid disease? Come to the support group that Dave started. He will help you to make the proper choices, not to get angry and depressed, which will make your life not just hard on you, but even your family, your caretakers. Choose to be like Danielle did. Just try the laser. What if we could improve your quality of life? Again, we cannot cure MS, but if we could slow down its progression and give you a better quality of life as what she's had, I'm hoping to give Dave a couple sessions. See if he can start, an ex-football player, these athletes, I know them. I used to play soccer all through college. You're trained to, any adversity you have as an athlete, you have to overcome it. If a fellow soccer player tripped me or fouled me, I get up off the turf and I just keep on running in the game. So Dave's athletic past has taught him not to give up. So I don't want any of you watching today's show to give up and just think, quote, woe is me. I think there's two minds we all have. On one day, people say, woe is me. I have MS. There's no cure. I'm going to get worse and worse, and they just get sad and depressed. But there's another voice they can listen to, and that's what Dave's voice is listening to. That second voice says, wait a second, I got to be brave. I got to be courageous. I got to keep my body and my mind moving, because if I stop, I'm in trouble. So we want to encourage you to come to his support group. So all of us get depressed at times, but this support group will help you to stay on track. Even if it's just once every 2 months, I'm sure there's times they can call each other just to give each other some support, even over the phone, to motivate you. So though I'm a full-time chiropractor and I never want to retire, and I'm mainly here to adjust the spine, we are blessed because we're successful enough. We buy traction tables and lasers. There's maybe 1% of my practice that need traction. 1/10% that might need MS. But for those 1/10 percenters, that's why we buy these machines, because chiropractic to me is just a healing of things natural. So thank you again for watching the show. July 10th, Wednesday, 6 o'clock at the Wellness Center. Come up with the MSers for a free laser presentation. Thank you so much for watching today's show.